An update on several possible surprises for tomorrow's men's and women's Royal Rumble match, including WWE Hall of Famers, legends, and returning superstars. TNA Wrestling were deemed to be overpaying too many talents signed by ex-President Scott D'Amore. We'll let you know the details on this story, plus an update on the possibility of a WWE and TNA Wrestling crossover show now that the multi-year agreement between both companies has been agreed. Alexa Bliss, she could leave WWE after failed new contract talks. Dakota is reportedly not planned for the Women's Royal Rumble match after recently suffering an injury. Kanellis confirms her departure from AEW. An update on the start time and air time for AEW Grand Slam Australia. WWE announces the schedule of major events for WrestleMania 41 week in Las Vegas. And Penta opens up on his Monday Night Raw WWE debut. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with surprises returns for the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches tomorrow. Now, of course, we will be doing a watch along, so be sure to join us. We'll be going live just 15 minutes before the show goes on the air at 11 p.m. UK time. Right, in terms of these spoilers, of course, it's just that. There may be potential spoilers here, so if you don't want to be spoiled and you want to go into tomorrow's show not knowing anything, feel free to skip ahead to the next news story. Let's begin with the possibility of Nikki Bella showing up at the Royal Rumble tomorrow. Now, again, please be cognizant when it comes to spreading this around in the comment section and all that kind of stuff. But according to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, a WWE Hall of Famer is in town ahead of the Royal Rumble. Fightful Select are reporting they have learned that Nikki Bella is in Indianapolis ahead of the WWE Royal Rumble. As of right now, it's unclear whether she is planned for the Royal Rumble match or an appearance at the Premium Live event. Now, it's important to note that numerous talents and legends are in town for WrestleCon as well. Nikki Bella has not wrestled since she made a one-off return for the 2022 Women's Royal Rumble. Both Nikki and Brie Bella left WWE in March of 2023 as their contracts expired. Nikki attended the WWE Raw on Netflix premiere, and she has continued to tease a potential WWE return in recent weeks. Now, speaking of Hall of Famers that are possibly scheduled for the Royal Rumble, what about Kurt Angle? Now, Fightful Select are also reporting they have learned that WWE legend and Hall of Famer Kurt Angle told those close to him that WWE had contacted him regarding participation in something for this week's WWE Royal Rumble. Now, it was stressed to Fightful that this wasn't known if this was something specifically about the Royal Rumble match or just an additional appearance. Angle, like many others, is already scheduled to be in Indianapolis as he's part of the WrestleCon event. Angle last wrestled nearly 6 years ago at WWE WrestleMania 35. He's only advertised for Saturday's WrestleCon show. Now, what about this crossover between WWE and TNA Wrestling? Could it mean a return to WWE for the former Dolph Ziggler, now going, of course, by Nick Nemeth? Now, while the expectation is a top TNA Wrestling star will appear in the WWE Men's Royal Rumble match, that top star won't be Nick Nemeth. WrestleVotes has reported on WrestleVotes Radio that Nick Nemeth is not expected to be involved at the WWE Royal Rumble. Quote, "We did ask a source and we were told now that he is no longer TNA World Champion, still do not expect Nick Nemeth to be appearing in the Royal Rumble regardless of the partnership between WWE and TNA," WrestleVotes said. Nemeth is actually booked to be the guest host of the latest Chris Jericho cruise, which runs from January 31st, that being today, until February 4th. That didn't necessarily rule him out of a Rumble appearance, though, as TNA World Heavyweight Champion Joe Hendry is expected to be the top TNA wrestling star in the Men's Royal Rumble, and he is planned to be on the Jericho cruise, linking up with the ship after the Rumble event. Nemeth revealed in December 2024 that he was open to appearing in the Men's Royal Rumble. The 44-year-old previously wrestled for WWE from 2004 until his release in 2023. Now, what about former WWE superstar Matt Cardona, of course known as Zack Ryder during his WWE tenure? It's almost time for the 2025 WWE Royal Rumble, and with it, a whole host of speculation as to who could return for the match or appear as a one-off. The latest linked with an appearance on the show is that of Matt Cardona, with the self-proclaimed indie god having made no secret of his desires to wrestle in a WWE ring once more. A report from Fightful Select suggests that there are people outside of WWE claiming that he is slated for an appearance, but these rumors have not yet been confirmed. Cardona is set to be in town during Rumble weekend, with the former WWE United States Champion set to appear at WrestleCon in Indianapolis alongside the likes of Mr. Kennedy, JBL, Rob Van Dam, and various others. Cardona has recently wrestled for the likes of Ring of Honor, GCW, TNA Wrestling, as well as AEW on major shows. During his run in WWE under the Zack Ryder gimmick, Cardona competed in 4 men's Royal Rumble matches, competing in 2010, 2011, 2013, and 2015 editions of the match. Could 2025 see Long Island IC compete in the 30-man classic once more? In addition to this, of course, there's been so much speculation about her return. What about Becky Lynch? Now, with the road to WrestleMania 41 officially beginning at the Royal Rumble tomorrow on February 1st, there has been much speculation about some of WWE's absent names. One such name is that of Becky Lynch, with the multi-time women's champion yet to appear for the company since signing a new deal outside of a promotional appearance for WWE at Netflix HQ. PW Insider are reporting that Lynch is slated to be at the Rumble in Indianapolis, although details as to the nature of Lynch's possible involvement with the show have not yet been revealed. Fightful Select, however, have reported that WWE sources have pushed back on the idea of Lynch being in Indianapolis for the show. Lynch has not wrestled since she faced Liv Morgan inside of a steel cage on the May 25th, 2024 edition of Raw, and if the man is set to compete at the Premium Live event, then it remains to be seen if she will take her spot in the Women's Rumble match. Lynch previously won the 2019 edition of the match, going on to main event WrestleMania 35 against Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. Now, going over to TNA Wrestling, this is certainly an interesting story because TNA continues seemingly to be a promotion in flux. In early January, the partnership between TNA Wrestling and WWE was made official, confirming the two companies will work together for several years to come. Meanwhile, TNA crowned Joe Hendry world champion and re-signed several big names, along with controversial star Tessa Blanchard. However, this came after a period of cost-cutting as many company regulars became free agents. PCO also lashed out at the promotion by smashing the Digital Media Championship to pieces at a GCW event. It was reported that the company had been playing games regarding his contract and rescinded an original verbal agreement in favor of a deal made up of the same amount of money per date, but actually with fewer dates. Interestingly, it seems the strategy from TNA wasn't just confined to PCO. Writing in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that the cost-cutting stems from deals handed down by former TNA boss Scott D'Amore, who was fired in February of 2024. According to Meltzer, it was felt that several wrestlers were overpaid, and as a result, when they were offered new deals that were for less money. This ultimately led to PCO, Trent Seven, Rhino, and more leaving the company. Quote, from the TNA side regarding the cost-cutting, those who left and were offered new deals with less pay or to be switched to per event from guaranteed deals, from their standpoint, people overpaid in deals that Scott D'Amore had signed. Those deals with Rhino, PCO, Trent Seven, Kushida, and Jay Chung, who departed the company after their contracts expired at the end of the year and were offered renewals at less money. Meltzer went on to add that a similar situation led to the Motor City Machine Guns heading to WWE, and that PCO was actually promised a world title run, although it's unclear whether this was specifically related to D'Amore. Quote, this was a similar situation with Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, who were close to D'Amore. D'Amore had supposedly promised certain things to a talent that once he was gone, new management didn't go for. It was said that PCO was promised the world title at one point. Whether this was from D'Amore or after isn't yet known. Although not mentioned in the report, Jordynne Grace recently claimed she cut short her TNA stay because Scott D'Amore was fired. This saw the company cut the final 9 months from her contract, allowing her to become a free agent and sign with WWE in January. Now, despite these departures, TNA Wrestling announced the signing of Mustafa Ali on January 30th. The former WWE star featured for the company between January and August of last year, but has now signed an official contract. Now, with this partnership with WWE, many are wondering, are we going to see an official crossover show? Well, new WWE signing Jordynne Grace has provided an update on her talks with Shawn Michaels about a potential crossover event with TNA Wrestling. On Monday, January 28, 2025, it was reported that Grace had signed a multi-year contract with WWE, having recently stated that she hoped that an Ultimate X match would take place in WWE. Grace has gone one further by suggesting to the return of the Worlds Collide crossover event. Grace pitched the idea of WWE and TNA Wrestling Worlds Collide, revealing her plan on Inside insight with Chris Van Vliet, quote, "I really want to see a Worlds Collide pay-per-view. That's what I hope this all leads to. I hope this partnership leads to Worlds Collide. Which world am I going to be in? I am a double agent." The former TNA Knockouts champion would go on to reveal that she's spoken to Shawn Michaels about it, who noted that the idea isn't off the table, stating, quote, "I feel like it's been in everybody's head. Shawn Michaels has actually mentioned it before. I asked Shawn about it and he was like, oh, I'd love that. It's not off the table." Now, this all comes after a multi-year partnership was announced between TNA Wrestling and WWE on January 16th. The first WWE Worlds Collide took place in January 2019 and saw NXT, NXT UK, and 205 Live stars in a 15-man tournament along with other inter-brand matches. In April 2019, Worlds Collide would return as a 4-episode series of inter-brand matches, with the May 1st episode featuring 2 Battle Royal matches, won by Bianca Belair and Roderick Strong. In January 2020, Worlds Collide featured a crossover between NXT and NXT UK, with JD McDonough becoming NXT Cruiserweight Champion and Rhea Ripley retaining the NXT Women's Championship on the 5-match card. There wouldn't be a Worlds Collide in 2021, with the special returning in September 2022 as the final event for NXT UK and the last of NXT 2.0 branded events. The NXT UK Championships would be unified with their NXT counterparts on that show. Now, there's been a lot of talk recently, hasn't there, been about Alexa Bliss and her failed return to the company. On January 23rd, it was reported that Alexa Bliss and WWE were unable to agree terms on a new contract. This led to a planned return for the star in early 2025 being dropped and all creative plans being placed on hold. The star had been due to appear on Raw with the Wyatt Six, but as the show drew nearer, the plans were shelved. According to the report, Bliss and her team tried to negotiate a new deal before her return to television, but the company played hardball in response. Writing in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reiterated that Bliss hasn't returned after being unable to reach a financial agreement with the company. However, in an update, he noted that the two sides are far enough apart that there's no guarantee that a deal will be made. Quote, "They were at least far enough apart that people are talking about not expecting a deal to be made." Bliss gave birth to her daughter Hendrix Cabrera on November 27, 2023. She had said she would return to WWE and had teased the Wyatt Six thing in recent months. Alexa Bliss hasn't been seen on WWE television since losing out to Bianca Belair at the 2023 Royal Rumble. While away from the company, Bliss gave birth to her first child, as well as battling a series of health problems, including skin cancer and what she's described as a postpartum health complication. Now, Dakota Kai reportedly is not planned for the Women's Royal Rumble. Kai is set to miss out on being involved in the Women's Royal Rumble match at Saturday's Royal Rumble Premium Live event from Lucas Oil Stadium. Mike Johnson, a PW Insider, has reported that Kai remains in concussion protocol and she will not be traveling to Indianapolis, Indiana for Royal Rumble weekend. Kai was diagnosed with a concussion following the January 20th episode of Monday Night Raw. The former WWE Women's Tag Team Champion was rocked following a springboard missile dropkick from Zoe Stark. Dakota Kai will return to WWE TV when she has been cleared from concussion protocol. How long she will be out of action is currently unknown. Now, Maria Kanellis has announced her departure from All Elite Wrestling. AEW performer Maria Kanellis has announced via X that today is her final day with the promotion. Kanellis noted that her husband, Mike Bennett, will continue working for the company and pointed out the two have a family to support. Kanellis signed with the promotion alongside her husband in 2022 following various runs in WWE, TNA Wrestling, and Ring of Honor. Following her AEW debut, Kanellis was primarily used as a manager in ROH, which AEW co-owner Tony Khan purchased earlier that year. Kanellis was paired up with Ring of Honor stars Cole Carter and Griff Garrison, making semi-regular appearances on the promotion's streaming series. Earlier this month, it was reported that Kanellis' AEW contract was initially set to expire in the latter part of 2024, but the two sides agreed a short-term extension that lasted through the end of January. As of tomorrow, Kanellis will be a free agent and should be allowed to appear wherever she likes. Throughout her time with AEW and ROH, Kanellis was vocal about her desire to do more, which would have potentially included a larger creative role. However, while details haven't been made public, it seems that the Kanellis and Khan weren't able to get on the same page regarding her position in the company. And next up, of course, AEW Grand Slam Australia. Now, a bit of an update when it comes to this because there's been a lot of confusion surrounding this event. AEW's long-awaited debut in Australia is right around the corner, with Grand Slam Australia set to take place on February 15th. Timeless Toni Storm will challenge Mariah May for the AEW Women's World Championship, and the Dream of Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega will face Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita. But there has been some confusion as to when the show will air. During the latest edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer gave some insight and detailed the benefits AEW could get from its unique time slot. Quote, "So I believe it's on a 20-hour tape delay, and the decision was made by TNT for the betterment of AEW," Meltzer said, with the idea that going right after, so it's scheduled for 10:30, there's a good chance it's not going to be 10:30. The All-Star festivities always run long. Last year, I think it ran to about 11:05 or so. When that's over, they're going to have a very large number. No post-game show, no nothing. They're going straight into the Australia show. Meltzer also explained that it is a unique opportunity for AEW. We will not only have the gigantic lead-in from the NBA, which will benefit the ratings for the show, but it will also air live on the West Coast. Grand Slam Australia will air in the primetime hours in places like California, which could result in highest viewership of an AEW Saturday show in quite some time. Meltzer believes that AEW will have to start the show with a bang, or even build an angle that will be paid off at the Revolution pay-per-view on March 9th, which just so happens to be taking place in Los Angeles. Now, a bit of an update here when it comes to WrestleMania week in Las Vegas. WWE are firmly on the road to WrestleMania 41 in Las Vegas, Nevada, and the final stops have been announced via an official press release. The schedule for WrestleMania weekend will see some of the biggest events of the year for WWE all take place in Sin City, starting with the April 18th WWE SmackDown, the final stop before WrestleMania. That episode will air live from the T-Mobile Arena, as will WWE NXT Stand and Deliver's premium live event, which will take place the afternoon of April 19th, with Night 1 of WrestleMania 41 taking place later that day. After Night 2 of WrestleMania takes place on April 20th, WWE will return to the T-Mobile Arena for the April 21st WWE Monday Night Raw, marking the final WrestleMania-related event of the weekend. Tickets for all of these events go on sale February 14th, with an exclusive pre-sale opportunity taking place on February 12th, in which fans will be able to buy combo tickets that allow them to access every event in the T-Mobile Arena. The press release did not mention the 2025 WWE Hall of Fame ceremony, which usually takes place after the final SmackDown before WrestleMania, or the April 22nd episode of WWE NXT, as the brand has sometimes held events in smaller venues in the same city as Raw the previous night. And finally, Penta has opened up about making his WWE debut. Penta made his WWE debut on the January 13th episode of Monday Night Raw on Netflix. He was revealed as Chad Gable's mystery opponent, and he scored the victory. Penta then addressed the crowd after the match. Speaking on Busted Open Radio, Penta was asked to reflect on his Raw debut. He said, quote, "Oh man, actually, I had mixed feelings and emotions. When I heard the 1, 2, 3, I turned around, my head to the crowd. I see my daughter crying. I feel so proud about me. And next, I feel so proud about my family. In my mind, I did this because it's my dream. My family is here, the big place, California. California represents something special for me in my career because I started in LA. What a special night for me. Chad Gable, this match with Chad Gable, turning point in my career, because Chad Gable is one of the very best wrestlers in the world. Very professional, he has something like me, the passion for this business. I said after my match, thank you, Chad, because you is the person in the turning point of my career. Now, after the match, I take my family with Rey Mysterio, drinking cheers with something in my room. I take dinner with my family, talking about it after the match. I asked my daughter, how do you feel? My daughter said, I don't know, sad and happy. I understand why, because it's 20 years. We work every day for this dream. This is my feeling now. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.